Hi, Itay. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Daniel.
So for the audience to get a bit acquainted with you, maybe you can tell us a bit about who you are and what you do and what Watchful.ai is all about.
Yeah, sure. We are an Israeli startup that is something like 5 years old live. And we do kind of competitive intelligence from a different angle. Today, competitive intelligence is something that is very focused on user acquisition. So companies come and tell other companies about how their competitors are bringing users into their platforms. From this campaign, that channel, these keywords and so on. But once a user is being acquired, there is a black box. Today, that is being called the product itself, like the mobile application, the websites, and so on.
Yeah.
And the product, these mobile applications or websites are black boxes today, and we are entering into the pictures once a user is being acquired.
Mm-hmm.
So we see all the promotions, all the experience, all the technical stuff that this person is experiencing.
Yeah.
And we're able to create kind of competitive intelligence solution for that stage and above.
And when you talk about when a client is acquired, is that when they buy or when they get into the website?
So, I mean...
Or into the app, sorry.
Yeah, when they get into the website, when they sign in into the website application and so on.
Yeah, so what's the behavior of the consumer once they enter that space that is not, historically wasn't that tracked?
Right.
Wow. And that's the area where you specialize in?
Exactly.
Okay.
So we call it product intelligence.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
And we are leading this category.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So why should a company in consumer goods be interested in that space? Like, how is that relevant to a brand in CPG or FMCG?
Yeah, so think about it. The entire R&D and product.
The entire what?
R&D, like research and development.
Yeah.
Of like a B2C player. And the product marketing, what they do all day long. They create features, optimizing their current features, optimizing their current experiences in order to increase the lifetime value and to make the user buy more, right? So they integrate with channels and partners and integrating other solutions. But a lot of this work is not super efficient. And we see, for example, that something like 40% of all the A/B tests that these companies are running are being abandoned, meaning that they tried that. It didn't work out so great, so they abandoned their experience. What we're able to show is actually better clarity about what their competitors are doing and planning and going to launch, and also tactical information that you might consider doing so and doing that or not doing that based on the stuff that we see.
So basically, like, a company can see like how the competitors are performing, like on like Walmart's website, for example.
Yes. So if you are competing with Walmart, for example, and Walmart is a good example because Walmart is very active. Actually, it's one of the top activist e-commerce sites in the world in terms of the number of changes, the number of A/B tests, the number of optimizations that they are doing for their users and for their app. The one that is actually above them and doing more, by the way, it's Temu. Temu is very interesting.
Yeah.
Temu, we see it, they came from China, right? They're entering the US market, and they are doing a lot of optimization to personalize their app to the US market. And the number of changes and the number of optimizations and the iterations that they are running is in much higher scale than what the US market is doing today. And we saw that actually the same 1 or 2 years ago with TikTok and Facebook and Snapchat.
So basically, yeah, I know that you showed me the graph before, like, that really, like, companies that are doing well in the online space are the ones that have, like, more updates, right?
Right.
But, well, that's one of the variables that you see.
Yes, so we see the velocity of how many updates they run. But it's not only about the quantity, it's also about the quality, like which changes they do.
Yeah.
So if we are competing with Walmart or Temu or any other player, you should be aware and should take on them like very carefully and closely. And to take this kind of look today, it's very difficult because, apps and websites are complex. What you see is not what I see.
Yeah.
There are a lot of personalization layers. To catch A/B tests, it's a nightmare today, and it's a tedious manual process that nobody likes to do.
Yeah.
So this is where we come to.
Yeah. So how do you guys do that? How do you bridge that? Because obviously, as you said, analyzing the experience on a website can be a very tedious process. What's the secret sauce to be able to extract conclusions out of that, especially when you're looking at competitors? So you're not looking at one company, but you're looking at various, so you have the benchmark.
Yeah, so something that was very important for me when I founded this company is that we will not need any kind of integration. Because, I don't want to come to a retail and say, okay, just integrate me into your solutions and let's spice all the privacy teams and all of that in order that you will see something. And also I need to do it on their competitors, right? So what we do is we have a couple of capabilities. The first capability is about package analysis. So every digital experience today is kind of combinations of layouts and images and text and a lot of that. And we're able to kind of analyze it from first version, new version and old version, and do kind of differential analysis. This is one capability. The second capability, this is where AI comes into play, is to analyze all these experiences and to analyze all these videos on scale and to kind of tag everything and to see if there is a new change, if there is a new feature, if there is a new banner, if there is a new promotions, if there is a discount,
Yeah.
And to also to be very deep in terms of, okay, this discount exists in this screen only to this kind of users or only to these kinds of experiences. And this is the machine learning and a lot of models that are running into play.
And that escaped my capabilities of imagining it because I'm not a numbers or technical guy. So, are there any surprises that anything that may surprise the audience in terms of how that user experience on the marketplace has impact on brands and retailers?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the examples that we see sometimes are A/B tests that are starting to kind of shape. And sometimes they are even they don't deploy to any user, or they are deploying to just 1% of the population, and we are aware of that. Once we see that and we inform their competitors, they actually can shape the roadmap and put higher prioritization or create better decisions just by this information. So, for example, we see a lot of dynamic pricing that is entering this e-commerce world, and a lot of personalizations and dynamic feed. Feed is becoming the top area in the app that they are 50% of all the changes that a retail, an average
on the
retail,
main page,
is on the main page on the feed.
Okay.
And for executives, for example, knowing what's happening in their market and in vertical, it's critical.
Yeah, absolutely. And
so feed is something that we see a lot, and also gamification. If you think about it, e-commerce websites and applications are becoming more and more sophisticated and complex, like games.
Yeah.
In gaming, there is a lot of personalization layers and dynamic pricing, and they know when to actually give you a weak level or something that, or now it's the time to give you a promotion to buy something else. So we see kind of this movement going into retail and e-commerce.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure to have you here. If anyone wants to get in touch with you, I can add your LinkedIn profile to the show notes. Is there any other way that they should get in touch? And well, actually, one last question: what kind of issues should a brand have, or what type of what should keep a leader of consumer goods up at night that they should contact you? What issue do you really help them tackle?
It's a good question. So what we see is that every retail or a brand has its own challenges and its own strategy. And when there is a new player or there is really fight head to head with the competition, this is where we can bring a lot of value, because there are a lot of blind spots today. And usually we come and bring the most value to companies that they have, like fight in terms of market share with some players with them. So I think that, this world is changing every day. We see a lot of changes and we see a lot of modifications and innovations that are coming, and to be on top of that is crucial. And this is where we help companies.
Okay, great. Yeah. Well, thanks for joining me, Itay. And
thank you, Daniel.
It's been great to meet you at the end of this 3 days or 4 days of Shoptalk.
4 days, wow.